This was an age of brightness, when sods spread like seeds among the vast land of China, when iron and cattle brought abundant food for millions of peasants, when national consciousness first aroused in this ancient country. This was an age of darkness, when slaughtering and blood can be seen as usual, when old costumes were destroyed by the new rules of violence and power, when great sods became ashes by the arrogant orders of monarchs. Welcome to my episode about history. From today, I'm going to talk about the amazing history about the Spring and Autumn Dynasty of China. The collapse of Western Zhou started from a funeral ceremony. This is a ceremony for the king Xuan, who reformed the Zhou dynasty from chaotic years. In order to show respect and differ the king from the others, according to the Zhou rites, the size of the tomb, the number of sacrificial objects, and etc., are strictly regulated. At this time, the Zhou still preserved martyrdom, which is a kind of human sacrifice, in their funeral system, which is another powerful way to convey authority. In Confucius' view, the Western Zhou is a period that strictly follows the rites, which is considered to be stable and flourish. But from some new pieces of evidence, the truth is not exactly following Confucius. Despite many attempts to reform, the Western Zhou is teetering on the brink of collapse. Though restricted by the rites, the actual authority is gained by power and wealth, so as the control from the central government is becoming weaker and weaker. It's a time for the princes to show off. Actually, from the reign of Li, the power of the central government is declining because of many wars. At the same time, the King Li attempted to restrict the people from blaming him, which caused revolts and thus himself dethroned. When King Xuan took over the country, he used some effective methods to save the country. But when he is older, he gave up resting in peace and declared many wars, but defeated eventually, which caused the Zhou dynasty cannot stop from declining. So it comes to an end of Xuan's rule, and this is the beginning of a new era of the last king of Western Zhou. It's called You, and its real name is Gongsheng. Though still in some debates, the last king of Zhou is considered to be a central person in the novel written by Feng Menglong in Ming Dynasty. Once an earthquake happened and a court official called Bao Xiang was captured because he spoke abundantly to the king about the impact of the earthquake. The son of Bao Xiang heard that Gongsheng likes beautiful women, so he found Bao Si and gave her to Gongsheng in order to release his dad. Bao Si became a concubine, but she seldom smiled, and this displeased the king a lot. He said that he will award 1,000 liang, which is a quarter of kilograms of gold, to anyone who can think of a way to let Bao Si smile. A wicked court official called Guo Shifu said that there are beacon towers in the Lishan Mountains which can order the troops from the princess to gather around. Her Majesty will grin from ear to ear when she sees the princess being tricked. Gongsheng teased the princess, as the court official said, and Bao Si can't stop laughing after seeing the angry princess being teased. But when the Quanrong army truly attacked, the princess didn't trust Gongsheng anymore, so they didn't come up and rescue. At last, the capital of Zhou was plundered, and Gongsheng was killed, as well as the crown prince, Bofu, and the beautiful concubine Bao Si was ravished by the army. Okay, that was only a story. Now it's history time. There are a lot of debates about the story of teasing the princess with beacon fire, since this story has many obvious mistakes. For instance, there isn't a beacon tower in Western Zhou. Apparently, this story isn't true. So what actually happened in 771 BC? We need to be cautioned that this is only another version of what happened, and this story is still in debate. According to Bamboo Annals, which recorded what happened in 771 BC, which is the 11th year of the reign of King Yu, said that the first month of the 11th year of King Yu, Solar Hallow happened. Here I want to explain that events like Solar Hallow is mainly recorded to foreshadow some big events and mainly negative ones in Chinese history recording, which is just a superstition belief of the ancient people, and you should not believe that. We also need to pay attention to the dictions. The army from Shen, Zeng, and Quanrong entered Zhou's temple and killed the king and Duke Huan of Zheng. This word "shi" for killing "you", which is Gongsheng, which mainly stands for killing your parents in Chinese. This is absolutely on failure, which is in sin in Chinese culture. If they use sha, which is simply means killing, often represents killing in reason, such as executing a murder or a crime. And this part is debatable, because according to Confucius, no reason can let you kill your parents. We cannot say that killing Gongsheng is completely unregulated with its own reasons. But because this book's writer is unknown and we cannot sure if this writer follows Confucius, and probably not, so the killing may also be related with the Prince Yi Jiu, since he is a winner of this political struggle. From these records before this final battle in the 11th year of the reign, we find clues to prove that this is a conspiracy, like from Yi Jiu, a dethroned crown prince, and his father-in-law, the Marquis of Shen, allied with Zeng and the nomadic tribe Quanrong. Their scam to usurp the power to make Yi Jiu the new king of Zhou. During this process, Gongsheng didn't just sit back and do nothing. We can see that he reinforces control over the princess by a meeting and strikes at first. He attacked Shen to capture Yijiu, which is conspiring against him, but we can see he failed and ended his dynasty's life. Okay, so Yijiu is younger, but he is the first son of the first wife of Gongsheng, and which is a princess of Shen, and that is a kind of like a political marriage, which is not love or something. And Bofu is the oldest son, but isn't born by the first wife, which is born by Bao Si, which is we all know that Gongsheng loved Bao Si very well, and so Yi Jiu was dethroned, and he went to his father-in-law's land and allied with his father-in-law, and they come together and killed Gongsheng to be the new king. So that's absolutely conspiracy in this kind of version. And at last we can see a map. From this map, and you have to forgive me that this is bad writing because I use computer to draw this, and we can see that how chaotic the Spring and Autumn dynasty is, and this will be the beginning of the new era. So first, we can see that here is the original capital of the Zhou dynasty, and after this fighting and conspiracy, they exchanged their capital to Luo, which is eastern of the original capital. So they call that Eastern Zhou and Western Zhou. And these are the different, like the princes that joined this conspiracy, which this is Shen, Zeng, and Guo, Quanrong, like these different areas. Okay, so lastly, we can a small question here, and feel free to point out any mistakes and problems of this episode. And I bet that this is the end of this episode. And if you like this, please subscribe. Thank you.